They say one bad employee can ruin everything you've built. I didn't believe that until the night my restaurant nearly got shut down because of my most trusted manager. My name's Marco Romano, owner of Romano's Table, a small Italian restaurant chain in Chicago, and this is the night everything almost went down in flames, not because of food, but because of arrogance. It was a busy Thursday evening, packed tables, the smell of marinara in the air, the usual dinner rush. I wasn't there that night. I was at our downtown location dealing with a supplier issue. My evening manager, Denise, was in charge, confident, experienced, and I thought, loyal. Around 7 p.m., I got a text from one of the servers. "Hey, Marco, weird situation tonight. Denise just kicked out a customer for taking notes and asking about plates." I thought, maybe it's some rude diner giving her a hard time. I told myself she could handle it. Little did I know that rude customer was actually a state health inspector. 30 minutes later, I got a call from the Illinois Department of Health. The voice on the other end said, "Mr. Romano, your manager just removed one of our senior inspectors during an active undercover inspection." I froze. I didn't even know what to say. When I asked who the inspector was, they said, "James Carter. He's been assigned to your franchise for over a year. James Carter, the same inspector who helped us pass our last inspection with flying colors." I jumped in my car and drove straight to the restaurant. When I walked in, the dining room was half empty. Customers looked uneasy. In my office sat Denise, arms crossed, fuming. Before I could even ask, she started, "That man was taking pictures and writing things down. I knew something was off, so I kicked him out." I took a deep breath. "You kicked out a health inspector?" "He was undercover, Marco. He was spying on us. He lied." I pointed at the wall, where a framed certificate from the Department of Health hung. "You know undercover inspections are standard procedure, Denise. You even signed off on the training." She rolled her eyes. "He could have just said who he was. I'm not psychic." That's when my phone buzzed. It was James Carter himself. He didn't sound angry, just disappointed. "Mr. Romano, I tried to complete the inspection quietly, but your manager made it impossible. I had to leave for safety reasons. However, I've already filed my preliminary report." My stomach dropped. "How bad is it?" 7 critical violations, multiple safety issues, and potential cross-contamination risks. "I'm afraid your restaurant will face a temporary closure until the violations are corrected." That hit harder than any punch. Years of hard work, at risk because of one person's attitude. I looked at Denise. She just shrugged and said, "This is ridiculous. He's overreacting." That was it. The moment I realized, Denise cared more about her ego than her team, our customers, or this business. The next morning, James met me at the restaurant. He walked me through everything. Unsanitized boards, missing temperature logs, raw chicken stored above cooked pasta, things that should never happen here. I felt sick to my stomach. Denise had been covering it up for weeks, yelling at staff, faking records, cutting corners to look efficient. When I confronted her, she exploded. "You're blaming me? Maybe if you paid for better equipment." I stopped her right there. "No, Denise, we had everything we needed. What we lacked was accountability." I fired her on the spot. It took us 2 weeks of deep cleaning, retraining, and rebuilding trust with our team. James returned for a follow-up inspection. This time, everything passed perfectly. Before leaving, he said, "I'm glad you took it seriously, Marco. Not every owner does." And I told him, "You saved my business, James, and maybe my reputation too." I hung a new sign in the kitchen that day. Clean plates, clean hands, clean hearts. Every shift. Because no amount of profit is worth risking your integrity. Sometimes leadership isn't da-vie about what you build. It's about what you are willing to tear down to protect it. Drop a heart if you've ever had to make a tough call to save what mattered most, and if you believe real respect starts with accountability.